Do you ever get involved in those conversations where you start off where your energy is in a fairly good place, somebody dumps all their problems on you, and you feel drained at the end of it? Well, if you've ever experienced that, then this video is for you. I'm going to explain how that happens and give you a technique so that the next time you're caught in that, you are going to be able to feel energized at the end of it, folks. Now, that might seem a little bit unbelievable, but from somebody that's been there, done that, and created this technique, I can tell you that it works. It really, really works. So let's explain what actually happens whenever you're in that situation. The odds are, if you're watching this, you're a healer, an empath, a light worker, which basically means somebody that wants to do good, somebody that would probably drop everything to go and help somebody, certainly to help a friend, that probably prioritizes other people's well-being over themselves. Well, I'm going to give you a technique that I've found to be an ultimate win along the way from somebody that is that demographic of people that has studied energy and has found a technique that does all of the above. This is the ultimate win-win, folks. If you do this, you will never feel drained again. You never will. So let's explain it. If you're in the world of energy, and the further down the rabbit hole you are down here, now some people are way more tapped in than others, and um, there's different variants of this. It's very much a sliding scale, what I'm going to explain to you at the moment. When you're listening to someone and you're looking to help them, you will know the energy of what they're saying without needing all the detail. Now, I've got increasingly impatient with this as I've moved on, that people just need to dump on you. Sometimes they just want to tell you all of their stories in the glorious technicolor detail because their issues are major issues and you need to know all of the details. Now, from someone that works with energy, I don't really need to know the details because I get the energetic vibration of where they're at very early on in the conversation. And being a good listener is curbing that propensity, that desire to want to interrupt them, to just pattern interrupt, jolt them out of that energy and say something different. Now, that is also another technique that can be used, and there is a time and place for that, but you may just want to let them go. If it's a really good friend, you might want to let them go. You might want to let them go and go and go and go and go. I know the drill, folks. I know the drill. And as someone that spent way too many hours in my life in that zone and feeling drained at the end of it, then you will get the technique. I'm absolutely going to give you a game-changing technique if you choose to go in that. So that you can spend that time, rather than feeling drained, actually energizing yourself when you find yourself in that dynamic. And the reason that I'm qualified to talk about this is because I've studied numerous different energy techniques and for over 30 years now. And I've used these in practice. I have benefited from the feeling that you come out of the other side of using this and actually feeling uplifted. So as an empath, the first thing is you don't need to buy into the whole story. If somebody's dumping their problems, they might just want to talk. Now, allowing people to talk and holding space, some people think it's easy. Listening is harder. It's much harder than talking. Holding space genuinely is a very hard thing to do. And friends that genuinely listen are few and far between. There's not many people I know that can resist letting people talk for more than a minute without interrupting them. There's very few people that can do that. And in fact, we have this thing where our brain thinks of something and we think it's the most important thing in the room. And you have to say it right now or you might forget it. Well, that's how a lot of people function. And it can drive you mad if you are that good listener, that empathic space holder. And you'll also know that holding the space for people for long enough will enable them, and asking the right questions will enable them to heal their own problems. But that is a different video for a different day. And that takes a lot more time and practice. So let's get straight to it, folks. Straight to it. to give you that technique. So the next time, there you are, you're in that situation where somebody is absolutely just unloading all of their issues on you, and you're feeling your energy, it's starting to go. You know where it's going, you feel the energy vibration of it. So what you're going to do now is you're going to create an energy space for yourself. And you'll know the drill with this. If you're regular to this channel, you'll know this exercise. And for everyone else, you start by grounding yourself. Now, grounding is connecting yourself to the energy of the earth. And the reason we do that is because when we're grounded, we're a lot safer and we're better as healers if we ground ourselves in the same way that an electrical current grounds itself. Now, there's lots of different grounding techniques. The one that I use is where you imagine a ball of light at the center of the earth and you imagine a cord connecting to the base of your spine. And just by thinking about this, you're grounded because energy follows thought. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to work on your breathing. By consciously slowing down your breathing, you are putting your mood in a better space because your breathing controls your mood. These are the foundations of all energy work and all energy exercises. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to fill up your space. You're going to put a bubble around you, and you're going to imagine a source of light above you, whether that's a ball of light, the sun, the moon, the stars, the universal grid, whatever it is you're into, just a higher source connecting above you and flowing in through your head. So you're now being energized from above and below, and you're focusing on that. You're breathing in a meditative way. Now, I find that I can even look very interested in what people are saying whilst doing a meditation exercise at the time. And if you want to amplify this as you're breathing, focus on this point in your nose. Notice all of the breath pass through it. This is a way to bring you into the present. This is a mindfulness exercise. This is so you don't completely drift off, but you stay in the moment. And this is actually you putting yourself in to a meditation while you're putting up, you're being there to listen to your friend or the person who is dumping their problems. And just by slowly focusing on your breathing as you do this, and you're energizing yourself. Now, the reason that this exercise works is because your energy is like a magnet and your thought is the controller of that magnet. You can choose when to magnetize and when not to. But it's not a case of turning your magnetic power on. It's always on. It's about learning to turn it off, folks. And this is a critical distinction. Until you learn that there's an off switch, that you can turn this off and you can energize yourself, you're always on, which is why we take on board other people's energy. When people are dumping, if you don't know these principles, you inadvertently take on their energy. And that's why you feel drained and why they feel better at the end of it, because they're taking on yours and yours is at a higher vibration. This is a way for you to get the results without needing to take on their energy and without giving away any of your own. And what this is effectively putting yourself into a meditation and getting the benefits of a meditative state without carrying the energy of where the person that you're with is. It's a very simple exercise. And the power of this exercise is through its simplicity. And the hardest thing to comprehend is the simplicity of this exercise. And my regulars will already know this, but what I will tell you is I don't want you to believe me that this works. I want you to go out and test it, and test it many times. Test it as often as you can. Offer it as often as you can remember to do it. And if you manage to maintain this state from the beginning to the end of that conversation, you will notice your energy shift. Now, the only way this doesn't work, folks, is if you allow your thinking outside, if you lose concentration, if you start buying into the story. But what happens if you realize after you've set this up that you've drifted? You can always bring yourself back, and you do it through focusing on this point in your nose. You're going to drift like meditation, but you keep coming back to your breathing and you focus on your breath passing that point of your nose, both going in and on the way back out. And as soon as you keep bringing yourself back, if you find yourself drift like the clouds will move, they will drift, but you keep bringing yourself back to this point. And if you do this, you can spend as much time with anyone you like who is dumping their problems on you, and you will feel energized at the end of it. If you do this, if you truly own this, if you do it properly. And this doesn't negate, folks, that sometimes you might just want to interrupt their pattern. You might have had enough. You might want to use a different tool for the situation. A great way is to somehow segue into a joke or something funny, but that takes a lot of practice and a lot of skill to get right. That's a very quick way of turning the energy around on its head, but that could well be an advanced masterclass for another day. So what I'm teaching you today, folks, is not the one size fits all solution. It is one of many tools for utilizing when people are dumping their problems on you, but it works, and it works well, and it works every time that you use it. And the more present you stay, the more aligned, the better it is, and the better the results that you'll get. So I don't want you to comment on this unless you have been out and you've tested this, you've done it, you have got the validation of whether it works or not, and then come back and comment. Unless you have a question about the technique itself, in which case you're welcome to ask questions. But the proof is in the pudding here, folks. You go out, you use it, and you see if it works for you. And if it does work for you, and even if you're curious or feel it may work for you, and you want more content like this and more tips that can help you on your quest, especially if you're a healer, an empath, or a light worker, which you probably are if you're still watching right now, then I suggest that you do this, that you subscribe to the channel just from this link here, folks. And if you want more content that can help you along your merry way, then you want this video here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience, and good luck in your use of this technique, which I believe will change your life.